So I wanted to come and talk about something. Recently, I've gotten into this artist called SZA, and I really like their music. I feel like it's beautiful. At first, when I think the first song I ever heard from them was Teen Spirit, and I was super into it. I heard High Power with SZA and Kendrick Lamar, and I really like that song as well. And then I believe SZA is also featured on a song with Kendrick called "The Spiteful Chant." And I really just got into their album Z, and I was just, I was feeling it. And obviously, like, SZA is a beautiful ass person. When I would see videos of them or just pictures of them, I would be like, ugh, so gorgeous. And it wasn't just that they had giant beautiful hair. It was also because, like, I just felt like if I was ever gonna be a thin black girl, that's what the fuck I wanted to look like. You feel me? I wanted to have a giant afro. I wanted to be like just looking super sensual. Like, that's what I feel about SZA. Just a sensual looking person, just looking like they have like so much to say, so much to contribute. And I feel like a lot of their photo shoots are just really interesting. They have one where they're working in a community garden and they just look so flawless, but then they're also, like, doing permaculture work, and I feel like that's really interesting for photo shoot idea. And I really just appreciated their vision and all of the ways that they were, existing. And I found myself online, and I caught a glimpse of an article that was talking about how SZA has fake freckles, and how her hair isn't it isn't real. And I was looking at their videos, and I was just like, I was loving them. And I'm not gonna lie, whenever I see like a black woman with like a lot of hair, I'm not gonna lie, I grill the fuck out of it, and not out of hate, and not out of like mistrust or unbelievability or or anything like that. It's more so like I want my hair like that, so I want to just grill it. Also, how often do we see black hair for real, and in such a abundance, and in such a way that it's just like really captivating. And so when I read that, I'm not gonna lie, I was messy. I was reading the articles. I was like, ooh, and I saw a lot of people were trying to figure out where she got the hair from, and they weren't really pressed about her hair being fake. They were more pressed about the fact that she had never offered a vendor or anybody to hook them up, because fake or not, that hair was on point. Usually when people are talking about your hair is fake, they're not loving on it. They're too busy like trying to tear you down for the fact that you put something in your head that doesn't look real. But her hair looks sickening, so people really weren't like hating on it. But then I noticed that people were really going in about her freckles not being real, and we're really just debating whether or not she was drawing them in, or whether or not you could see the freckles underneath pictures. And she posted about how she covered her freckles with makeup for a long time. And I think in ways, for me, like, I've always thought freckles were really cool and really cute. And I think like some people I know for sure who don't have freckles were like, oh, I wish I had freckles. And seeing her freckles were just like, really just like they were beautiful. She's an attractive person, but it's just like reading all of those comments about how her hair wasn't real, about how her freckles weren't real, and about how people were like challenging some of the lyrics for, like critiquing the lyrics because in interviews she said things that seemingly conflicted. I was like, damn. Can she live? Like, can she live? And I know that, like, it being in the spotlight, people feel entitled to information about you. People feel entitled to know all the things about you that might make them not want to fuck with you. And, being a brown skinned black woman with hair that is like enviable, you know what I mean? People are like out here like, where the fuck did you get that straight kinky from? I think that's just like, it's interesting, but it also reminds me of, what it's like to be invalidated as a black female bodied person, to get your hair together, to get your looks together, so that you can like navigate the world seemingly more easy, and having people invalidate your personhood by asking you what about you is real and what about you is fake. And notice, we don't go up to people and ask them, is your personality fake? You know what I mean? When we like them too much, or when we're interested in someone, we don't ask people to reveal the fakeness or the disingenuous natures of like things that aren't tangible. But when it comes down to like black women, black female body, or black female identified people's bodies, there's really this disbelief and this need to know the truth, this need to find out, what's real and what's not. And even with these long ass braids in, I was getting asked all types of questions. Another woman of color asked me, is your hair real? And no tea, no shade. My roots are probably like a black cherry. As you can see, there's some pink in there too, because I was trying to do something, girl. And I ended up just putting my braids in, and it ended up looking sickening, so I wasn't really tripping about it. But, I feel like if you really to the trained weave eye, you would know this is not my hair. But for people to still ask me, it just reminds me of when I wear wigs and stuff, and how no matter what I'm looking like, even if I feel like I'm looking sickening, there's still this level of alertness that I have, to where I'm constantly waiting for someone to bring up the fact that my hair is beautiful, and then, is it real, or is that all you, or where did you get your hair, automatically invalidating the fact that my hair could or could not be real. And while it doesn't bother me on a level where it's like, I'm yelling at people or I'm fighting with people, it used to, and now at this point I'm a little bit better at navigating that. But it's still like, there is a war on black female body people's bodies. Like, people really don't want us to excel or shine in a way, or look too good, because then they start to question, why they have all this anti-blackness or anti-black womanhood hate and shit like that. And I feel like with SZA, despite the fact that her hair isn't quote unquote really growing out of her head, it doesn't take away from the fact that this person as an artist is refreshing as fuck. And that, like, as a brown skinned woman of color, I want her to win. I want her to do good and, be able to make her own dreams come true with her natural talent. But it just sucks that, like, Lady Gaga can put on a fucking little Party City wig and have someone edit that shit, and people really just suspend their own belief to believe that this white woman has natural hair or has this naturally and all this shit, despite the fact that she's open about wearing weaves and wigs. But the fact that there's no one out there targeting white women, asking them if their hair is real. It's very rare that I really encounter someone asking me, and when I ask them, do you ask white women if their hair is real? Do they say yes? Because people believe that white women have the ability to have all different types of hair, because there's so much visibility for white women. White women can exist in so many different ways, that for black women, if your hair is not an afro or braids, and even if it's braids, or even if it's an afro, but any kind of hair, people gotta ask you, is it real? Is it yours? And I just feel like when that shit happens, it can be a really traumatic experience. It can be something that really fucks with you and makes you feel kind of like, damn, like it kind of takes away the excitement of actually having that style, of actually looking that good. It's like people will tell me I look good, but then want to know, is that your real hair? As if to say, okay, you look good, but let me break down why you look good. As if like my existence can't just be. And I just feel like that's really what's happening with SZA as an artist. And I feel like there's a lot of slut shaming as well. At one point, Schoolboy Q said that she wasn't on tour with him because she likes to fuck too much. And I'm sitting here like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, don't you like to fuck too? And I just wonder, why so much hate, but I really don't, because this is a black woman who is, above averagely attractive, and people just don't want her to fucking live. And I think, like, even with Beyonce, like, I feel like Beyonce being like at times seemingly white passing, at times seemingly like less black, more racially ambiguous, people really do let Beyonce live more so with her blonde straight weave, and they don't want to question it. But I feel like if Beyonce were to come out with hair similar to SZA, people would have something to say. And I think less so than SZA, but I think at the same time, people are willing to suspend their belief for Beyonce because she does follow, I think, Eurocentric beauty standards to a level that people are just more comfortable with than SZA, who is wearing their hair, no matter the fact that it's fake, her texture is not giving you fucking Eurocentric realness. And I feel like that's also the problem, is that her natural look too nice. You feel me? And that's why people are like, well, it's not her real natural, and getting all mad. And obviously other critiques can be made about the fact that, this is the type of texture she chooses to put in her hair, over other textures, other textures that are like less acceptable in terms of natural hair. But I think at the same time, the fact that this person exists and visibly is wearing a hairstyle that is like, less Eurocentric, and more, more black, and more, and even black, like, encompasses so many different hair textures and types. I think that visibility of blackness, it does irk people. It does make people feel some type of way. So with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts on SZA. I want to hear your thoughts on the slut shaming behind her. I want to hear what you guys have to say about her as a whole, artist, because I feel like a lot of people are nitpicking the fact that there are things about her that are not genuine or real, when I feel like, how many artists can you say have told you everything about their life, have disclosed everything? For all one of your favorite artists who's a dude might be having a fucking weave, might be having a toupee, and would that change their music for you? Would that make their music less good, or less well made? Probably not. But you know I feel like, the misogynoir, the anti-blackness against black women is just so great that people really will take away from her actual talent and try and make it a debate about whether or not she's a real person based on her hair. Um, and that's obviously fucked up. But please post your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.